Hello, and welcome to the Two Dads Podcast, the first inaugural podcast. Well, sort of. I guess we'll get to that here shortly. I'm here with Slick Will. What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you, everybody?
Oh, I'm good, man. It's good to be here in the first episode-ish. I can't wait to get into that. We've had anything that can go wrong. Murphy's Law has gone wrong. But I tell you what, it's a trial and error thing, and we got through it.
Long day for you yesterday, traveling back from Boston. How was that?
It was good, man. Actually, I was kind of nervous because the weather was really bad leaving Boston. It was... I went out there for a video game championship. If you know the games or somebody in your family knows the games, it's Rainbow Six Siege, and it was their invitational. So I kind of got to go out there as the video game part of my life and experience video gaming at the highest level. It was fun, but getting home was a doozy. There were 3 flights out of Boston. 2 were canceled. I was the one that did end up getting out.
Get a lottery ticket while you can.
I thought about it. I thought about how lucky is this right here, but it's good. It's good to be back. I teased it a little bit earlier, Bill. I said that this is the inaugural episode, kinda, and that's because we've been through the gamut here, man. We've been through the gamut trying to get this thing off the ground with every intention of doing it right and doing it well. First, step us through. Do you remember what was the first thing that went wrong? I'm trying to remember.
Well, we met in November, and we kind of talked about it when I was hopping on the...
It's in February. We're like halfway through February. Okay,
well,
go on.
We talked about it in November, and then we went through, we ordered the equipment, everything got here in January. We were going to launch mid-January, January 21st.
Yep.
And as we got through it all, the Rode mixer for all of our sound took a shit on us, went into a boot loop on an update, and we had to send it out to Rode. They did a really good job of getting it back to us. Took them 3-ish weeks, though, so that delayed us about 3 weeks. But we're back here, and then we recorded last week on Tuesday. Everything was great. We tested the cameras. We tested the audio. We went through it. We were ready to go. We felt great about the episode. We come back in. We go to edit it on Thursday of last week, I think you did, and sure as shit, the SD cards were encrypted, and we had no video.
Not
only
encrypted.
Audio.
That's the tech side you're not in.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, not encrypted is not the right way. It's fine. Everything was broke. Let's just keep it in layman's terms. The SD cards were just busted. So we had all of the audio, but if we're gonna launch this podcast, I want to do it right. And so getting the video portion of it for clips from Instagram. I mean, everybody watches podcasts nowadays, and that's part of the reason why we have this. It's sort of I've noticed that podcasts are changing. Not only in just being an audible thing, where you can watch it. A lot of clips are big in some of the podcasts we watch. But regardless, it's a good way to stay in touch with people. That's kind of the basis of the beginning of why we started this podcast. And it's a good way for us to let people know what's going on each year,
Yeah, I think you lead right into it. What is this podcast? Why are we doing it? And it's for a lot of reasons. For me, it's one way we can connect with a lot of the people that we know in the area. And we want to bring on guests that are very business savvy, very good at what they do, to have them come on here, give us life advice on trials and tribulations to where we can learn and take that into the chicken truck and help grow that. But then also all the listeners can take some of that as well with them and see how they can apply it to them in their lives.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just to reiterate, the podcast is a way for us to stay in front of people. I've always said this. If you're not staying in front of somebody on social media, somebody else will, right? So if I'm not in front of it, if you're not in front of it, and we're not having a conversation of keeping Two Dads at the front of your mind, there's so many other brands out there that want to take your time. And I think you alluded to it really well. The goal for this, sort of in the great irony of what we want to accomplish, is very simple. I have a network. For those that don't know, I come from the influencer space. I'd worked on brands like Maverick by Logan Paul, love him or hate him, whatever, Mr. Beast, Ninja, Travis Kelce. My list goes on and on. But one of the things that I'd kind of taken away from that is staying power is extremely important, right? And then using that network to bring information to you guys. Like having moved back home and living in a small town of Salina, Ohio on the lake, giving access to some of these stories and things that you can take from learnings from these huge influencers and apply them to your own life is one part of the podcast. The other part is quite simply, how do we apply those learnings and put them in a chicken truck? And you're the operations guy. People are probably wondering, who is Bill? We've seen you around. You might have seen me on the skits and teased Bill a little bit. Why don't you take an opportunity real quick just to tell us about you? Why are you here? What did you want to do? Because Bill's been amazing. I say that real quick just before I let you in. Bill's been an amazing addition to this team. Operations is something I'm so bad at. I'm good at skits. I'm good at vision. I'm good at having fun and entertainment side, but the operations, the balancing of the books. I think I handed Bill like a doodle charts worth of like receipts in a giant bag. He's laughing over here. If we get a shot of this, he's actually laughing. But tell us why are you here, man? Like, what was the whole start to finish? Like, we'll have an episode later, but what's going on? Where was your brain at?
We'll go into it a little bit, and I think the big thing was I saw the potential that you guys had last year. Was a big fan. You launched last year. It was important. You know, you had another business partner there. Things didn't work out for whatever reasons, and I noticed, hey, you know, two dads went to one dad. So I approached you and I said, hey, you know, let's go have some beers and talk on it. So, you know, we went to the Moose. Shout out Moose, one of the best lake bars out there.
Shout out.
And we started talking, and, you know, we realized quickly that your inability at operations and my background for the last 10 or so years, you know, I've been a plant manager, a production manager, done it all. So I'm able to take that to the truck, and I'm curious to see how much it transitions. So all you foodies out there, you can give me any advice you want to. But everything's pretty simple when it comes to it. Simple processes, doing the same thing the same way. You know, we're going to stab different people in this truck. You're going to work one week, I'm going to work the next week, and we're not guaranteed consistency through the product. So that's one thing that I'm excited to bring to there. And another thing for the podcast is us to tease and lead up to the events coming up. So one big thing for me on this is, hey, we're going to go out to Moose Stock next week, guys. Hey, everybody come out to Moose Stock. We're going to be there. The chicken truck's going to be there. We're able to advertise for ourselves, but we're also able to collaborate with a lot of these local businesses to say, hey, we're going to be there for you guys as well. So it's kind of a win-win for both phases. So we win because there's more people there, but so does the event, so they make more money.
Yeah, I think that's to add to that though. It is you know, the more we get into the podcast talk, the more I learn about it. The more I even learn the goals. In the beginning, truthfully, people are going to say like, "Why did you do it? Why did you do the food truck?" I don't know. I just wanted to. And same with the podcast. There's a very similar applicability. It's just like, I don't know, I wanted to, because you know that opportunity, as long as you keep moving forward, you keep trying, you keep just taking shots, you're going to land some of these. So the podcast in one is just like, we're excited just to be in front of you guys. I'm excited just because I think small town Mercer County, where I grew up, doesn't really have something like this. So to have an avenue where you can tune in weekly and watch this chicken truck just roll around town to these events that they talk about that you heard on the previous episode, who knows? Maybe we'll drop free food. Maybe we'll drop new ideas. Maybe we'll poll you guys to bring new menu items, but the list goes on. And a podcast is that perfect glue between the physical product payoff, which is like, hey, let's just go out and get a chicken sandwich. I'm hungry. We've had a few brewskis, or it's just down the road. Let's check it out. And then the beginning information phase. And I think for me, the information phase, and you can probably speak to this, is so critical, whether it's numbers or the vision or the strategy. There has to be a North Star. And this is such a good way to communicate with the community. Just let us know what's going on in my brain and your brain, and then they kind of get to see it, you know, come to life.
Yeah, I think we looked at it last year from a couple different aspects. You know, we spent a large majority of our time over at Boardwalk. You know, the whole summer we spent at Boardwalk.
And can I just say real quick, shout out to Boardwalk. That they gave me an opportunity. I have to give them credit where it's due. When I had nothing, I was just doing Instagram videos like, I'm building a food truck for my community. Like, it's fun, and I shouldn't downplay it. But they picked me up, and they gave us a real opportunity to scale a business at the right time. So you can probably appreciate that in the operations side.
Oh, 100%. A lot of times you need that leg in the door, and we had that with them. They gave us the opportunity to showcase it. Boardwalk has tons of people in and out of it every weekend for different events. They have the condos. They have, you know, beach volleyball. They have everything there. But for us to have a secure place to work every weekend and help grow that, but I also feel like we wore our welcome out towards the end. You know, numbers started dropping off a little bit, and that's where we kind of take that advantage to take advantage of the wheels on the truck. It's a truck. Let's go places. Let's go mobile. Let's touch more people. And I think that's kind of where the podcast is going to help interloop that. You know, you took some time. You went to a fair last year. You went to Van Wert a couple different times.
Yep.
But we have a lot of different events in a lot of different towns this year. You know, we're looking at Walpog, Van Wert, possibly Lima, Fort Recovery for the WOW raffle, possibly New Bremen, things like that, that we're going to be able to touch all the local areas, and then that'll be able to tell us if we're going to be able to go to a second truck next year. So if we do great this year and everything works, we're going to need a second truck because we're not going to be able to touch all the events.
Yeah. We were a luxury at the end of the year. You know that? Like, it was becoming to a point where if you could come get us Thursday, you'd be like, all right, we'll get it tomorrow. And then Friday would show up and you'd be like, yeah, we can still get them tomorrow. And then Saturday would show up and you'd be like, yeah, we can still get them tomorrow. And then Sunday hits, and it just, you're right. When it was really good, it was really good. When it was not so good, it just, from an operational standpoint, I learned so much. And basically what Bill has said is like, we learned that events are really where it's at. People come out with intention to spend. They come out hoping to see you. It's kind of like the party. Like, I love where we were. I couldn't be here today to make a decision if we're going to do a second truck without starting where I did. So I'm eternally grateful for the boardwalk, and you guys might see me around town doing skits and stuff. It's part of my appreciation for what they also gave me. If I can give knowledge base back to it, I will. But that being said, that's a little part I wanted to talk to you about, Bill, is like, you get to watch this year our ups and downs. You'll get to watch failures that we say, wow, we took a shot here and we missed. We took a shot here and we crushed it. And you guys were amazing and this didn't go so right. But really, you get access. That's what this podcast is truly about. The more we continue to talk about it and get excited about it, it's about access to two things. One, I'm an odd character, okay? You're going to learn about entertainment in a small town. You're going to learn about what I'm about, the vision side of my life. That's truly where my brilliance lies. And in operations, you can talk to Bill, ask Bill questions about, what do you do about this? How did you scale your business? How do you know when you're ready for a second truck, right? And then in culmination, you also get to see us talk it out. I think that's something that's really cool. If you really think about this, getting to hear us talk something out from the infancy phase and the intimacy of this garage we have here, which we'll talk about here shortly about like the setup and why and where, but I think that's a cool thing, right? Like you're getting inside knowledge to watch something that's being built right in front of you.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for us is that we're going to have like-minded people come to us, and we're going to learn from them just as much. So we're going to share trade secrets. We're going to do best practices and things like that. But I'm personally really excited. I'm breaking out of my social media funk, I would say.
How's
that?
How's that? You've been working on the socials. We got him on Two Dads Golf. You might have seen some of his content. I'm pushing him to like reply to be on Two Dads Food. But what is that like? Like, what is it like when I'm coming at you, telling you have to like, hey, get on camera, talk about your weight loss? Like, what does it feel like?
It's like 5 minutes of fear. I don't know how else to explain it, but once you're past that instant starting phase, it's all easy. It's like the social anxiety of saying, hey, do I look awkward? Did people think, that I look stupid wearing what I'm doing, or
You're
do I
your worst
not?
critic. It always comes out of that.
It's like, I don't really care because I'm having fun with this.
Sure.
And if it equals out to nothing, it's just a good friendship with you and people we get to learn with stuff. But, the Two Dads Golf is something I started. Mitch is like, post something that you enjoy. I really, really love golf.
Yeah.
So I said, let's start this. And I don't really know what I'm doing, but Mitch has been a good mentor of mine. And I've watched best practices of other people. There's a few people that I, shoot Instagram messages with. Yeah. I'm going to Arizona in March to kind of collab with 1764 Golf and Mr. Butsy down there. He's a big golf influencer down there. Cool. So he's kind of bringing me under his wing to show me the ropes of everything that he's going to do. So shout out Butsy. See you in the middle of March. We'll see a lot of stuff on the Two Dads Golf page from that. And he's got a podcast as well, so I'm sure he'll hop on here at times, and, he'll be one of our possible guests. So I'm excited from that phase. Growing the truck is going to be my number one goal. So I'm going to push real hard to have that, and we're going to have a good year.
Let's talk about some of the people that are coming on the podcast. You alluded to that a little bit, and I don't want to overshadow it. So, we hinted at who are the major players? Like, who am I going to learn from? This isn't just going to be local people, too. One of the things that I love is we've actually got people scheduled like doctors that grew their own practice. We've got famous guitarists telling us how they got to that top 1%, right? We've got business guys that are in the billions with net worth. I've got influencers, comedians, and I've got a lot of people that I come on that I'm not really sharing a ton with Bill. He'll know the names and he'll get to do like a pre-report on them. But what we really want to do is we want to ask them, like, how'd you get there? What were your fears? What were your failures? Just like when you went out there and did your Two Dads Golf content, what did it take? And how does that apply to people's lives that are listening? And how does that apply to a chicken truck? Even if it's something like a guitarist says, I didn't really make my big break until I did X. Can it be applied operationally? Can it be applied entertainment-wise for me? And that dynamic, it really excites me, man. It gets me excited for this.
One of the common goals, I think, for us to achieve is all these people that we're going to bring on. One question I'm excited to ask them is what everybody asks us. How do you have time to do all this with your kids and your family and your wives and et cetera? So I think a lot of it for me and you, I'll speak for you a little bit, is having a strong partner on the other side of you. You have Tasha, I have Haley, everything's great. We have the kids, different living situations and things like that with our past experiences, but those are things that people need to learn to work through. If you don't have a strong partner in a lot of these, I really don't think people become successful business people because it puts a strain on the relationship sometimes, and you got to know what's the common goal for you and what's the common goal for your family. And a lot of times it's the same. You just got to make sure you're both communicating effectively in your relationships.
Yeah, I think you're just one opportunity away. I mean, part of being in this, and it's not always fun. It's not always fun. Like doing skits, like people, if you're watching this, you've seen me do a skit or two each week. I try to stay relevant because we're seasonal. You know what I mean? The opportunity we created last year with the truck and the excitement. I mean, think about Chickasaw. I still think so fondly of Chickasaw. We showed up to a random town on a random pop-up, and they crushed it. And we had a line to the street, and I was so humbled. I realized how important this brand is, not only to me, but to the community a little bit. And the fact that it's seasonal, it was tough. So we did a lot of skits, and the reason wasn't just I'm bored. A lot of people said that. What, you just bored? We just bored? No, it's I don't want you to forget about me. We had a lot of momentum, and if I can make you laugh each week and think about me, hopefully by the time March 22nd, our first event, nice, rolls around, we'll be top of mind. So it's that plus you're just one opportunity away. And you saw it earlier. We had a couple skits hit almost 1 million views, 1 million with an M. And to me, that's not why I started, but you never know when that's going to happen.
But that keeps you going, too.
It does, yeah.
That got me so excited. I wasn't even part of it. That was a Mitch skit. I had nothing to do with it. Just being on the team and be able to think about that. And I'm just watching 750, 800,000. I'm like, dude, this is hitting 1 million views, man. Yeah. He's like, I hope. But one big thing I think we're looking for with the chicken truck this year that we're going to be able to advance on was the commissary kitchen we're kind of looking for.
Oh, yeah.
Strategically, we're kind of looking for a commissary kitchen in the local area. As we grow to some of these events, and we found our pain points last year was being able to prep all the chicken in a small chicken truck really is not the most efficient way. So if we're able to bring in a commissary kitchen in the area, and we've looked at 2 or 3 different ones, and we like a few of them, and we just got to get the financials worked out with them. When we're able to do that, we're also going to be able to bring winter events next year. We're going to say, hey, Super Bowl Sunday, come out and get a 2 dads from 1 to 5 before the Super Bowl kicks off, and the Saints hopefully make it to the Super Bowl next year.
What about DoorDash? Would we be able to do something like that too?
I think with a selective hour, you might be able to do that. I'd have to look at what the criteria is. I think you'd probably have to be open for a certain amount of time. But I think in the summertime, we should be able to take advantage of that for sure. Hey, we're open here from this hour. I think you just have to have a hard address.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the commissary, just having the first part of this food truck was really tough. It was the space. Having no space is something that you have to get so used to. I hated it. I mean, it took a definite getting used to. You certainly have a lot of crew in a tiny, cramped closet, right? I called it the chicken prison. For me, you join the chicken prison, you lose weight, you sweat, you're just constantly on top of everybody. But yeah, a commissary is sort of where we're heading this year, right? We talked about the events, expanding outside the boardwalk. You're going to see us at fairs and festivals. We've booked, how many have we booked so far?
So last year we had 60 working days. We are already booked for 58 working days, and we aren't even really into prime season yet. So those are all pre-booked events. So we're at the same capacity that we were last year already, and it's only February.
It's amazing. So as you can see, just that level of growth, we're very fortunate again. Thank you guys so much. I have to take a moment just to say thank you guys. If you're listening to this podcast and you're taking the time and energy to give that to us right now, thank you guys for everything, for coming out, for watching the skits, for embracing Bill, for embracing this podcast. It's amazing. But the next step, logically, is that commissary. It gives us an opportunity to expand. You know, really, the vision for Two Dads for me is sort of like Barstool. People say, like, what's your goal here? It's kind of like a John Boy meets a Barstool. Those two combined for me is just, I want to be a media hub in Salina. I want to be something bigger. I want to be something people participate in, they laugh with, they enjoy, they vote in. It's a community of people around here that are like-minded and have similar interest. But at the same time, if you want to get a chicken sandwich, you can go get the chicken sandwich and see the boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing for the overall branding idea of it. When we talk about, Two Dads Golf, I try to grow that. We've mentioned in the past, Two Dads Gaming, Two Dads Bets, Two Dads Fitness, anything of that where other people can join us. You think of that Barstool style. Everybody's their own person.
Yeah.
We want that. Mitch isn't changing me. I'm not changing Mitch. We are who we are. He's a lunatic over there some days, but I'm learning from that. I'm a little bit more controlled, and he's learning a little bit of that, I hope.
Definitely. I can attest to that. I definitely, if there's one thing, my vice is everything more and more and more and more and more and more in excess. And so that's something that I've learned to like just find common flow. I think the people that will benefit the most aren't even the customers. I think it's the staff. I think the process of improvement that you're going to bring to even a topic like that is just simply put, it's just, we were fighting for our lives last year. Like just trying to figure out how to service a fair in general was absolutely mind-boggling. And to have someone like me at the helm making decisions like that, I mean, I look back in terror. I'm like, I don't know how we did it. We did it, and we did the damn thing, and I'm proud of the squad. but I'm so excited to see how that improves, because if our end goal together is to have many trucks, let's call it 4 to 6, that tour
A baker's dozen of them.
perfect. A baker's dozen's worth of trucks that tour a lot of different spots, or maybe we franchise, or maybe we have to put in the hours now to learn the process, to learn the exact replica, because we're trying to scale, and we're not going to create a new one every time. It'll be chaos. If I did that, it would be chaos.
And I think this area has been great for us too. We've got Kerry Roberts Sr. over there. Who
Great
ran
mentor.
C-Town
Great
for
mentor. He'll hate
long.
me for saying that. He will hate me. He'll make some joke about me bringing him up, but I got to give him a shout out where it's due. We have great people and teams around us.
Yeah, shout out Kerry Sr. too. He's taking my brother down to Florida to one of their houses down there to golf. My brother brought 2 cars from him from Rhinos over there. So no free shout outs, but shout out Rhinos and Kerry Sr.
I actually hit the Rhino the other day.
Did you really?
I ran into it.
Did you buy your new car from there?
I did. But I will say, and no free brand deals. Okay, Kerry, you're getting a little too much. You're getting too much from me here. But I will say, I was running in to drop something off, and as stupid as, and this is my blonde moment. It's like, I could build you a strategy for Mr. Beast. I could build you a merch strategy. I could build you some brilliance, and then I'll run into the Rhino. What I did is I thought it was in park, and it wasn't, and it just went forward a little bit further, and I just dunked the thing. Kerry Sr. comes flying out with Doug that works over there too, and they're like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "Dude, I hit your Rhino." And then we checked on it. He goes, "I just want to let you know something. The last guy that hit this, he was an idiot."
Retweet.
Stamp it.
Yeah, speaking of the area though, we we had a really good opportunity to talk with MVP though. MVP
yeah.
Dairy. So we went out there last Wednesday, I do believe.
Hey, let's talk about this real quick. I don't want to interject. One of the things leading into this MVP topic is that collaboration is a big part of our North Star this year. And MVP, we'll use it as an example in a second. But the reason that this brand exists the way it is we are looking for cross-collaboration this year. It's not just events. It's not just being in new spots. It's not just switching away for the boardwalk and the commissary. The other part of this, to bring it all full circle, is like, do you remember when Mikey's Late Night Slice, this is in Columbus, Mikey's Late Night
I know,
Slice
right, where you're going with this.
collaborated with Hot Chicken Takeover. They did a Hot Chicken Takeover, Mikey's Late Night Slice Pizza. They traded the power of the brands together. And in the past, people have been scared of that. They think that that is a brand retreat. They think that it's wrong. And like, oh, I don't want them to think we're more pop. No, it's a collaboration. You're both creating a unique offering and power that shows that you guys are kind of bigger than just your own brand. You're part of an ecosystem. So to bring that back here, it's like, I can't wait to collaborate. I want to do something with a special at Moose or a sauce offered somewhere or a specific menu item that's partnered with the new 202 Kitchen or the Anchor. Like, I want to do some fun stuff. And there's a lot of really cool entrepreneurs around here. That's one thing I learned is there's so many cool entrepreneurs around this area.
Yeah, I think that's what this whole thing is about, right? It's all coming to fruition, and we're able to get to that point now where we're able to go to these events, pack up the podcast, the podcast equipment, head out to, like I said, the WOW raffle in Fort Recovery, where we're able to go there. The food truck's running. You and I are up on stage talking with the head director and, cutting a podcast, helping shout out them. It's a huge fundraiser for everything they're doing in the area. And again, it's just spreading the wealth a little bit. And
I think the area wants this, don't they? I mean, I feel like Salina, the surrounding Mercer County, I say Salina because that's relatively where we're at and located, but the surrounding area is watching the same content we are. If I say John Boy, they know who it is. If I say Gary Vee or Nikki Cass or Good Friends Podcast or Joe Rogan, like, name them. They watch them too. It's not like we're just some like, I'm from a podunk town and I don't know nothing about media. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, dude. So why don't we have our own? It's the same thing I built for influencers. What was the question that I asked Mr. Beast? Why aren't you wearing your own gear? Nike's not paying you. Why are you wearing a Nike shirt on your million? Like, they're not giving you money, right? Exactly. And we got the cores behind us. It doesn't. Hey, well, we're just working. Okay, we're starting. But the point is, if we can and will do it ourselves, then we're gonna, right?
And there's nobody that'll support us more than this area. This area pours out support 100%. For all the local supports, fundraisers, 5Ks, cancer meetings. Man. The people are some of the best people in the United States.
Transition that to MVP Dairy. Like, they called us that. Give that example. I didn't want to cut you off with that earlier, but yeah, now they got a little. We give a little background, a little knowledge of it, but like, yeah, MVP called us for a collaboration. It's going to be one of our first, so that's going to be cool, and we can kind of tease it now. Yeah.
Yeah. MVP called us. They want us to come out there, and they really wanted the food truck, right? They wanted the food truck to come out, and it's this big event. I believe it was early June. It's on like a Tuesday. And they wanted us to come out there and, hey, how many chicken sandwiches can you serve or chicken tenders can you serve from this to this? But they also brought us in and, headed the conference room, talked with them for a couple hours, toured their whole facility. You know, it was beautiful. It was so clean. Everything was done very right, and they want us to come there and help them plan this event a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
new ideas, right? Like they had said, they basically saw our brand, and to me, it was the first sign. You had said it clicked when we left. It kind of clicked, but for me, it also clicked. My click was this. It's the first brand that kind of said, come in and do as you please. Like, give us your version of how you do this so we can incorporate you. A lot of brands, if you do a sponsored deal or you have a sponsored, a takeover or something, they try to be a little different, but really it's so on rails. You lose sight of the actual brand. Like, yeah, they could have us there and they say, we want you to be this person and we want you to do this thing and be, we call it corporatized sometimes, like whatever the word at home is for you. You're kind of like, hey, it's a collaboration, but not really. You're really just you're almost like a prop. This was the first time someone said, hey, we really like your stuff. We really like your originality. How can you spice up our spot? And so, we're in awe because it's a large structure that's beautiful. It's well maintained. It's got money, dude. You can look at this thing and be like, dude, they got some cash, right? But that's so cool and honoring that they look at our stuff and say, how can you make us look cooler? And I still can't get over that. I don't know how you feel about that, but a collaboration of saying, what do you think?
Well, I sat in front of in that conference room with Allison, Allie, and you. And shout out Allison and Allie. Shout out. They were really fun to work with the whole time. I saw Mitch in front of this dry erase board with a marker, like a mad scientist, drawing all over, erasing this, drawing arrows. His artwork needs a little bit of
absolutely,
a little bit of help. But other than that, you got the picture. And I was sitting here and I was just like, I just partnered with one of the smartest damn marketing guru guys that I could in the area. And my first thought was, how the hell am I going to make enough chicken sandwiches this summer? Like, I just really fear in a good way that this collab's going to go great. Other collabs are going to go great. And then I'm going to be neck deep in dad sauce and chicken tenders trying to figure out how the hell to get these out faster. But that's what I'm here for. I'm going to bring that. So it was really assuring to me, Mitch's area. And then I instantly said, I got to make more chicken sandwiches. Like that's,
I love that though.
What I need
it's
to
a
do.
yin yang thing. And I talked to one of my mentors, and my mentors are in different countries in this case, like just really successful businessmen I have the luxury of talking to. And one of the things he said is after I had kind of made some changes in the truck, and I'm sure people around town have got a little whiff of it, but we made some changes internally with personnel, and the one thing that they said is, look, you need a partner. I needed a partner when it first started, and someone that helped me get it off the ground. It was a pitch in and everything, and now it's at a different evolution. It sort of changes in front of you. This is a different scale, and your strong suits are now operationally. How do we punch the numbers? Because I'm never going to be able to punch the numbers, dude. I know you talk about the brilliance. I'm so grateful for that. But there is a consequence to that on the other side. Yes, I can make you a beautiful marketing everything. I'm on a whiteboard like a beautiful mind. People are like, whoa, that is what is happening. It's almost a production as much as it is like just using a whiteboard. That being said, the fall off is always the numbers. I couldn't cook you an Excel spreadsheet. I couldn't do it the way I'd actually be incredibly inefficient. I just rely on ChatGPT and say, please, hope I get there. And that's just not how businesses run. So knowing my own vices, we'll get into that in later episodes about my thing. I think next week we'll talk a little bit more about my story and a little bit about your story. But one of the vices that we'll get into is just my god-awful math. My math skills are embarrassingly bad. So bad.
Yeah, he handed me that big old pile, and he's not exaggerating. It was an 8-inch pile of paperwork and drawings and everything else, and I was just like, what the hell am I going to do with this? So I spent an entire Sunday just sorting everything.
Shout out, Bill.
Putting everything in Excel, making sure we're looking at the profitability. And then I find out that we have this great CRM system that we didn't use last year very much, other than just a ring-up item. So everything that could have already been there and could have spit me out a report in 5 seconds, I had to manually do. Now,
that's all the time we have here today.
Next season, this upcoming season 25, we will utilize that system so we can run those reports and have real-time data to make better decisions. But, I asked Mitch, I said, what's your labor utilization? And he's just like, yeah, I got 3 guys. That's not what I'm looking for, man.
You asked me questions of like, should we pour our own ketchup or get the packets? And I probably looked at you like out of the side of my head. Like that question would never have an answer. Like I'm embarrassed to say, no idea. And there are some business guys out there probably laughing, or farmers who have balanced a budget, or anyone that's in sort of that kind of general realm of like, should you do it this way or not? Yeah, but it's our first.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself some grace there. You got to take it on the chin and realize that, everything we were first year was just you're just trying to live. That's the one thing I talk about these mentors. I talk about these people that we're gonna have on the show. I think we'll see a common connection from what I've had the exposure of is just year one. You're just trying to live, man. You're just trying to stay head above water. Just takes a huge drink of Diet Coke. Can we get a shot of that?
I'm a huge
if
Diet
we can
Coke
get
guy.
if we can get a Coke sponsorship.
Pounders
is what you call
like,
those?
It's like a beer, but it's a pounder.
16-ounce pounder of Coke. If we can get Diet Coke as a sponsor, hear me now. Diet Coke, if you're watching and this podcast blows up, please get Bill. He doesn't even need much. Just get him a Coca-Cola hat, get him a Coca-Cola golf bag, and get him some, like a rack of Coke every week. That's all.
Dude, no, give me a McDonald's fountain pop Diet Coke setup.
Let me ask you this. That's amazing. Okay, first of all, I'm not going to
right here, just.
So let me ask you something real quick. Just a fun little side piece to this podcast. If you had one sponsor, this podcast blows up, we wave a magic wand, it's all in front of us, we have the world at our fingertips, millions of views, and sponsors are throwing them at us. They're throwing themselves at us. If you had one sponsor to pick, who would you pick?
I'm going to go with two, and I know you just said give me one.
Okay.
I'm going to give you
two.
One
two dads,
large brand and one mid-level brand.
Okay, let's hear it. I like that.
Diet Coke would probably be one of them.
Wow.
I would put it up there. I do have a conflict of interest with our Good Liar beer partnership, so I don't want to look at the Coors Light banner in the background or the Busch Light in my refrigerator.
I'll just move myself
anything.
in front of it.
So Good Liar beer is up there, but mid-level one, there's a hot sauce out there named Truff Hot Sauce, and I don't know if you've ever had it, but my God, I put that on everything.
You know how many listeners are probably like, dude, this is so offensive because Mitch has 5 commercial hot sauce as the hot sauce god. He did hot shit for 120-plus episodes around Columbus, and Bill's just over here just really getting hot and heavy for himself on a Truff hot sauce. Oh, I do love Truff, though. I will not lie to you. Amazing hot sauce.
I will 100% look Truff dead in the eyes, ask for a collaboration this summer, and we will dip our chicken tenders or sandwiches in your Truff sauce, and it'll be the best collaboration ever.
I think for me, this is tough. I'm trying to think of things that I have in excess. But some of the things I have in excess, I don't think a sponsorship. Like, I like energy drinks. Like Alani comes to mind, right? Like, I'm just like, I would drink 50 a day. Yeah. I don't think that would be good. And coffee's
die in a year.
I really like Slim Jims. I think Slim Jims would be that is just an awful pick. There's somebody at home that goes, really, dude, you got a magic wand and you're picking Slim Jims? I love their brand, too.
The old Macho
Shack.
Man commercials?
Yeah.
Snap it to a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
I can, it's funny. I can actually do a decent Macho Man.
All right, let's hear it.
Let me find it. I got a chant. I'm trying to think of what I used to. I always have a keyword like it's undeniably one of the best men I ever saw. Yeah, this guy's coming in here, the cream of the crop. I tell you what, Mean Gene, this guy, he's coming in here. I don't like him. Something like that. That's decent, right?
Two things. I can't wait for the camera pan for that because it looks like you were pinching off a constipated turd. It was incredible. 2. Trivia question. Yeah. Macho Man Randy Savage played minor league baseball for what MLB franchise? And if he played for more than one, I'm sorry, but I know the main one.
Macho Man Randy Savage played minor league baseball for what team? I've heard this before.
He was a catcher.
He was for the Cincinnati Reds.
100%.
Let's go, baby! Boom! We don't mess around. Hey, shout out to Gary Burbank and 700 WLW. I'm sort of a Gary Burbank fan. If you didn't know that, a little bit of reference. I love Gary Burbank.
Same. I've been to an incredible amount of Reds games. I've been to opening day for now 27 years in a row.
Wow.
Minus COVID. And my dad, my brother, and I remember listening to 700 WLW on the 2-hour drive to Cincinnati and the 2-hour drive back every single opening day and any other game. So great shout out, Gary Burbank.
Gary Burbank and 700 WLW. Cincinnati.
You know, I think one thing we missed, and I want to talk about this. I wasn't there, so I'm going to ask you the question because you were there. Last summer, you want to talk about collaboration a little bit. Last summer, I pulled up on the boat, and we got 2 dads, and I pulled up, and I did my classic order. Can I get the All-American Dad?
Yeah.
And you said, it's all taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
And everything was paid for my meal. And I was very caught off guard. And I kind of thought, hey, man, Mitch actually kind of likes me. He comped my meal. No. $2,500 worth of meals were comped that day.
Yeah. One of the things that we did that was a little different last year was we used Twitch to our advantage. Like Twitch being Twitch.tv, it's an Amazon product. It's basically a live stream. We would go live in the truck, and we wouldn't really show the customers because I don't want to weird them out. But one of our really, really valuable community members online said, I want to take care of everyone's meal. Like I want to pay for everyone's meal. I wanted lunch and dinner service, and they donated $2,500 so that everybody on the boardwalk that day. And it was weird because you could see do you know they're giving away food for free? Like it was a really weird hush thing, but it was one of the coolest experiences I've had the chance to. It was so incredible to really just have that happen, and it's the benefit of mixing a digital world that I come from. You talk about, my background with all those influencers, and now an operational, something that was very standalone, a store. And it was really cool to be able to do that for our town. It was really cool to just have that happen.
It speaks to, kind of the whole mantra of this podcast. I went there and my meal probably would have been like, it was me, my wife, and I think one of her friends, Lainey, and we went up there to order food and it was free. So what would have been a $40 meal for the three of us roughly was free. So when I went inside the boardwalk and I had a, Busch Light bottle, which was cold and delicious, I bought the guy beside me's beer just for the simple fact of like, I was in a good mood because someone bought me a meal. You paid it forward. So I paid it forward and bought this other guy a beer. And it was like, I hope that kind of just spreads anywhere anybody goes.
I think that is exactly what we hope to foster as far as like when we sit down and really identify what our brand's going to be about this year. Giving an incentive is definitely something. We gave a lot of money last year, too. If you guys tuned into some of the skits, I gave away $100 like it was candy. Hey, just follow this, like this. Guess how many chicken tenders we're showing up to do this. We're going to do so much more this year because it was just practice. And I can't wait to just, if I can earn more, if we can earn more in those trucks, whether they scale, the community that supports us now, early listens to the podcast, will be the first rewarded. And you know it as well as I do. Just like, I want to give people money. I want to give you a share of this because this should be our brand. It should be everyone's involvement. Whether you're just watching our podcast, giving likes on videos, or coming to the truck and eating chicken sandwiches, it's really important to just be a part of that community, and I think people should be incentivized for that.
I agree 100%. And the one difference from this year to from last year to this year is your boy Slick has budgeted for that. It is a certain percentage of total sales, so we will give away what we can afford to give away in a business sense.
Sure.
But if there's always a good cause for the right thing, we'll live outside that and donate to whoever and whatever we want to. Some events are tragic and unfortunate, and some are planned. We sponsored Northmore Golf Course this summer, so see us on the scorecards there.
You can also see us at the bowling alley right now, Plaza Lanes. You can see us at the end of the lane.
Forgot about that, too. So, just two local establishments that, we spend a lot of time at and bring our families to, so it was something important for us to sponsor. So it'll be another good thing for Two Dads Golf, too. We'll get out there, do some collabs out at Northmore, try to catch a hole-in-one on camera.
Could you imagine doing that?
I've made one hole-in-one.
Wow.
But I didn't have the opportunity to catch one on camera. So if I ever get another one...
Isn't golf not about having a ton of camera? Like, I think we can do some live streams and stuff, but catching a hole-in-one, you'd be hard-pressed to catch that.
Yeah, I think more of it will just be, a GoPro in the cart, being able to talk to that, because that's some of the best interaction is, you sit down, you just... yipped 5 shots and you're just sitting there like, I fucking suck. That's golf some days.
It's even worse when people are watching you do that. So, well, we're excited for Two Dads Golf. We're excited for Two Dads Pod. You heard some of the Two Dads Games teas. You heard Two Dads Food. There's plenty of socials that we can plug. You can follow us here at Two Dads Pod on Instagram. That's the easiest way to stay in touch with us. You can follow us also at Two Dads Food. That's where the skit pages are. It'll also be more tailored to the food truck itself. But before we go, Bill, one of our sponsors you teased earlier is Good Liar. They sent us a package, and I think we should open it before we go. Thoughts on that?
Love the unboxing, and I love Good Liar.
Okay.
I'll love them a little bit more depending on what's in these boxes.
Let's see what they got.
We'll let Mitch go first. This one is for Mitch.
All right, shout out to me, I guess. Good Liar, thank you. Rainer over at Good Liar sent these to us. It only took about 9 years, but we're going to take a look. First thing pulled out of the box, a Good Liar hat for you, Bill.
I'm going to need that.
Amazing. Yeah, why don't we just make that swap real quick? There you go. There goes the hat. And here comes my hat. There's two. The beautiful hair I took so much time to put it. Just kidding. Is wonderful. We're very thankful for these. And then I've got my own, depending on the size, Bill's size, Mitch size. It's Mitch size.
Small?
You'll be there. Yeah, okay.
Medium.
That's fine. All right, here you go. A Good Liar shirt. Thanks to our friends over at Good Liar for sponsoring the podcast. Again, we are looking for more events, more sponsors, more collaborations and opportunity. But right now, shout out to Good Liar. Good Liar beer. It's an NA beer. Drink responsibly, I guess, right? It's a responsible drink.
It is a responsible drink. Drink 6 of them and drive your kid to a Little League game.
That's right.
It's not legal advice.
It's not legal. We're not lawyers. Thank you, Rainer, for that. I really appreciate that.
Rainer, I haven't met you yet, but we will have you on here at some point, I'm sure. And
What you get? I see another hat. I see another hat swap, baby.
He knows I'm a hat guy.
Let's go. There goes another hat in favor of ooh, I like that one. That one's good.
This one looks sharp.
Let's not lose that. It's a good one.
And it fits my head well. It makes my fat head look a little smaller.
That's nice.
So we got that, and I got a shirt, and I think I like my shirt a little bit better. We got double Cobra action here
Wow.
from Good Liar.
Wow. I don't know what to say about that. It's beautiful. It's so nice.
So thank you, Good Liar Beer, for the sponsorship and the free merch.
Thank you guys so much. That's going to do it for episode 1 of the Two Dads podcast. If you like what you heard, stick around. Next week, we got an additional episode. We'll probably get into my story, a little bit of Bill's story. But thank you for listening. It's
Thank
the Two
you,
Dads
everybody.
podcast. I'm OG Pickle.
And I'm Slick Will.
And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.